All right, let's go to the quarterback. Speaking of Cam Ward, although I don't think we're going to be worried about streaming him in the 33.5-point list. The quarterbacks on the bye, Drake May, Jackson Dart, Brock Purdy, and Bryce Young. Drake May, one that you really feel is he's been QB5, 20 points per game. And when Dart's healthy, a lot of QB1 weeks for Dart. Let's go to the waiver wire, though. C.J. Stroud, 61% available. Yes, the big Sunday night game against the Chiefs, who we said you can throw on. He's coming off a week where he had the early interception and then he settled in. Stroud spoke this week on just the chemistry building in this offense under Nick Caley.
As a whole, we've gotten better. We found our identity, I feel. And I think, we're starting to play well together. It's a lot of new guys playing together this year. So we're starting to get that chemistry down and that connection. And you can see it, playing and play out, and route detail and, play calls and me getting the play in, organization of the, formations and everything like that. So I think, we're doing a better job at that. And then, the execution has picked up.
So the touchdowns haven't been there, especially last week specifically, guys, for Stroud. But he's throwing the ball plenty in the yardage where maybe some positive regression coming C.J. Stroud's way, Jay?
I think so. I thought he played overall really well against Indianapolis. He had the one terrible, kind of inexplicable interception. And Stroud will have those moments of madness. He's like Trevor Lawrence with the madness meter toned.
He doesn't melt after that.
No, he doesn't melt. Yeah. He got right back on track. I thought that he was making very quick decisions and getting the ball out quickly. Yes. And also, Nico Collins seems to have turned the corner a little bit after a very strange start to the season. And I think it just makes sense that this is first year in a new system under Nick Caley. I think the offensive line, which looked like it was just going to completely submarine the team, it feels like they've gotten that a little bit more under control. It's not going to be a strength of the team, but it's not going to be a crippling weakness. Right. Now with Higgins' emergence, with the safety blanket of Schultz, and with the the tier 1 elite talent in Nico Collins, I think this can get back to looking a bit more like the offense at the level it was in Stroud's rookie year.
I agree. I mean, Nico's just looked awesome recently. You bring up Schultz, and C.J. Stroud is really good. I think we sometimes just forget that because he's been in a situation where it's a lot of turbulence with the play calling. The line was brutal to start this year, and like you said, Jay, they look more viable now. Not great, but viable. The thing is, though, they're not good enough that they can lean on their run game, which helps C.J. Stroud in fantasy.
Yeah, you talked about the volume of throws, 35-plus passing attempts in his last 3 full games. And here's look at the theme. We've already talked about the wide receiver 2 on the Texans. We've talked about their tight end.
Right.
And now we're talking about C.J. Stroud. This is why, since Week 9, Kansas City Chiefs ranked 30th in pass defense, and we talked about that, too. We talked about Chris Jones not having a pass rush. Now, when you put that together with that offensive line that's not perfect, plus the fact that C.J. Stroud is starting to play more like he did as a rookie, it kind of bodes well for him to have a solid day here, which he had. We just going to need the touchdowns to start coming with it. We regular football playing good, fantasy-wise, we're going to need a touchdown or two because he doesn't give us much with his legs.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of an underwhelmingness around Stroud because, after his rookie season, he came into his second year as like 5th favorite for MVP. And people were like, this guy is going to be, the next great quarterback. Yeah. And I
Joe
think
Burrow level combo.
And he's not that. I think Stroud is like the 12th or the 13th best quarterback in the league. I think he's settled somewhere into that range with the Jared Goffs and the Brock Purdys of the world, which is fine. That's an above-average quarterback, and those guys get paid $250 million. Yeah. And in terms of fantasy, I think that the pushback against Stroud is that, like, D'Amico Ryans and this team, they play like they know they have the best defense in football, and they're just going to be conservative and not going to air it out a ton. But going up against the Chiefs, Sunday Night Football, going up against Mahomes, you would suspect that they may lean into the pass a little bit more. And so I think that Stroud, the fact that he had 276 passing yards and has gone back-to-back games with 275 plus, I think that's very encouraging. And I think he can be, a high-end QB2 rest of the way.
Some deeper league targets here, guys, real quickly. Marcus Mariota and Tyrod Taylor, they give you some rushing as well, as much as both guys threw the ball relatively solid last week. J.J. McCarthy, if you're feeling risky. But keep in mind, besides McCarthy's own struggles, the Commanders, we make fun of their defense a lot. Since Dan Quinn has taken over the play calling, it's been better. Yeah. Not great, but not a punching bag. And then Trey Lance, you'd only be starting solely because of the rushing if he has to play against the Eagles. If you need a defense or a special team streamer, as we look at our poll results back up here, guys, it's cut off because the voting is just, there's so much of it right now. Everybody's getting involved. It looks like
Younghoe Koo.
Younghoe Koo replacement is the leading option. Matthew kicking, that would be.
To be fair, Younghoe Koo, his kicking performance last night, the one man in America that would surpass would be Matthew Berry, who would have stubbed his toe, but at a further place back.
Yelling in agony.
Like 5 yards back.
Yeah, exactly.
And blaming the turf.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
Looking down on the turf. Yeah.
Who didn't cut this patch of grass?
Yeah, exactly.
The excuse lawyer.
What's interesting there is that him teaming up with Lane Kiffin was by far and away the lowest amount of votes. And
nobody bought that.
People don't think he got the chops to be a GM or something.
Yeah, him and Lane would be some kind of party.
Oh, man, who you tell?
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.